Oh man, that was an ugly way to go. That was a real ugly way to go, folks. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to TTP Sports. And the Eagles, in my honest opinion, I think they lost this game to the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think the Cowboys won. I think the Eagles lost. Eagles had this game. They had many chances to win. This was a very winnable game. I thought Gardner-Minshew, he went in there under all the situations, with the Jalen Hurts stuff and everything, but I thought he did a fine job. He made some nice passes. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, both making incredible catches throughout this game. Devontae Smith, I thought, had a fantastic game, but when you're having 4 turnovers, 2 fumbles, 1 from Boston Scott, which was a terrible, him handling just a handover from Gardner-Minshew, and Miles Sanders just getting the ball poked out of his arms, which allows Dallas to recover both of those. And then 2 interceptions, which I don't think are the fault of Gardner-Minshew whatsoever. I have no complaint on that. It's all Quez Watkins on those situations where he gets completely out-muscled on both of those balls. A guy's going over him, takes the ball out of his hands, and then basically the same situation. Both situations, he's having a guy completely out-muscle him and just rip the ball out of his hands. Well, the first one, the guy goes over his shoulders, steals the ball, and the second one, it was basically an out-muscle situation. So Quez Watkins, go hit the goddamn weight room, buddy. Go hit the weight room. In my honest opinion, I don't even think he should be the option on 3rd down, because even though I don't blame Gardner-Minshew whatsoever on those plays. That's all on Quez Watkins. I feel like those 2 interceptions are both the fault of Quez. I just don't think he should be, like, where's A.J. Brown going down on the slot? Where's Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert on 3rd down? I feel like Dallas Goedert should be a guy basically, should be, when in doubt, go to Dallas Goedert on 3rd down, because he can give you some good yardage there. He's a safe bet there. So, and specifically on the defensive side, when you're committing all these turnovers and forcing the defense to get back out on the field, early in this game in the first half, the defense really struggled on 3rd down, allowing Dak Prescott basically all these easy passes to CeeDee Lamb, completely wide open, was uncoverable in that first half. But it's just, it can't happen. That can't happen in that first half. And there were a bunch of mistakes too, which basically allowed Dallas to continue their offensive drives going. There was a 4th down situation where Darius Slay takes a stupid illegal holding penalty or illegal contact, where there's a situation where Avonte Maddox, even Avonte Maddox, to start off this game before he left with the injury, he was great. The only mistake that he made was failing to sack Dak Prescott, which allowed him to make that pass to CeeDee Lamb for a 1st down, and then they go back down the field for a touchdown. So that's another situation what happens. And then, basically the killer of all killers, when you're up, I believe this is after Dallas kicked the field goal, or this is before the field goal. I think this is after they kicked the field goal, where it's a 7-score game, or a touchdown game, basically, at this point. And Josh Sweat, after having that huge pick 6 to start the game off, you go on your first drive, you get the field goal, Dallas starts their first drive, Dak with a terrible throw, goes right into the hands of Josh Sweat, he returns it for the pick 6. Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick on this specific drive in the 3rd quarter, doing everything they can to force 3rd and long, sacking Dak all day long in that drive, basically, to force a 3rd and 30. And you give it up? You allow a team that is basically driven on not giving up the big play, you give it the biggest play of the game on 3rd and 30, which allowed them to go back down the field and tie the game. Like, Darius, what are you doing on that ball? You got absolutely cooked. You got cooked. That can't happen. That was basically the game right there. That 3rd and 30. Because your very next drive for the Eagles, Miles Sanders fumbles the ball. And Dallas goes back down the field. They score. Even though you force them to a field goal, which I kind of believe is kind of idiotic on Dallas's perspective, Mike McCarthy, why aren't you going for it on 4th down right there? You're giving the Eagles a chance to come back. And then you get all these amazing catches by Devontae Smith on the next drive, him able to keep his feet in. Same thing with A.J. Brown. Devontae Smith, keeping it in with his fingertips, making all these amazing just plays happen. And then sadly, just I feel like Gardner Minshew on that final drive just allowed himself to get under pressure a little too much, and also losing Lane Johnson completely hurts that situation. Because honestly, if instead of Jack Driscoll and it's Lane Johnson in that situation on that final drive, maybe Gardner doesn't get under as pressure as much, and he's able to make a play to possibly give this Eagles team a win. But it's still I find it odd that with all the turnovers in this game, how is it that close? Now, is that a fault of Dallas's? I think so, because coming into this situation, Eagles backup quarterback, they're losing all these guys to injuries. Yeah, you're scoring on their turnovers, that's good, but you're still allowing the Eagles basically to take the lead. They have the leads, even though you're coming back in the game and all that stuff, yes. Allowing all these deep balls to happen, allowing all these contested plays to happen, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert. Feel like there's a little bit of, suspect there from Dallas. Like I said, I think the Eagles lost this game more than Dallas won this game, if you understand what I mean. Eagles had many chances to win. When you have 4 turnovers and you allow 20 points to be scored off of those 4 turnovers, you lost the game right there. That just can't happen. It simply cannot happen. And I do think Gardner Minshew had himself not a fantastic game. I thought he did fine for the situation that he got thrown into. Like I said, he did make mistakes here and there. I do think a lot of some of his throws were definitely a little floaty, definitely overthrew some guys that had chances for touchdowns, but he also did make some fantastic plays too, especially near the end of the first half. On a 4th down play, finds Devontae Smith wide open in the end zone for a touchdown. So there's situations there definitely. Well, not at the end of the first half. This was in the 3rd quarter, I believe. But overall, you get what I mean. There were a lot of plays in this game where Gardner Minshew did a lot of good, and especially his receivers helped them. But also in a situation, why are we handing Boston Scott his first touch of the game, and that results in a fumble? Why is Boston getting his first touch there? That there's just a lot of things. Like, seriously, the thing that bothers me the most is the 3rd and 30. Like, that shouldn't be happening. If you stop that 3rd and 30, if you force them for a 4th down, honestly, I think you win the game. I think you win the game at that point. But I think the game was sealed once you gave that up, because Dallas just had all the momentum on their side. Even though you were able to get a good drive going down there in the final seconds, just came up short. That's bottom line there. You came up short. Like I said, I'm more frustrated that you allowed the 3rd and 30. That just can't happen. That just cannot happen in the National Football League. I want to know what Darius Slay was even thinking on this play. He just got absolutely burned. Ball watching, and I think it was either Josiah Scott or someone else, I believe. All he had to do, instead of trying to make the play on the body, just try to reach your hand up and try to deflect the ball. That's all you got to do. Both of those guys getting burned on that play. I thought Darius Slay was terrible in this game. Yes, losing Avonte Maddox definitely hurt you a lot. You also lost Jordan Davis, possibly with a concussion. And now we got to figure out what's wrong with Lane Johnson. And I think, honestly, that's probably the most important fact to take away from this game. Is Lane Johnson going to be okay? Because most likely, even though right now you didn't clinch the NFC East, you did not clinch the NFC in general, still have a chance to do that next week against the Saints, which honestly I do think at the end of the day you're going to get the job done. Not sure if Jalen Hurts is going to be playing next week. Most likely I would think not. I think they said on either Eagles postgame or it was on Fox still, that most likely there's a chance that Gardner Minshew could possibly play next week as well against the Saints. Like, I'm not worried overall. I don't think the Eagles are going to eventually get the job done. And I'm not worried about that whatsoever. It would have been nice to do it today because you had many opportunities to do that. You just shouldn't be turning over the ball 4 times, and you shouldn't be giving up a goddamn 3rd and 30. Like, that's the most bothersome thing. How? I want to know how. Like, is that on Gannon, or is that just, I feel like that's more on Darius Slay and Josiah Scott for allowing that to even happen. Like, you're getting all that pressure on Dak, Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick, they're doing everything possible, and you give that up. A defense that's basically molded to not give up those big plays, and you do. It just can't happen. That cannot happen at all. My God. My God, my God, my God. And Dallas is most likely going to run their mouth, no doubt. But I don't think Dallas deserves to do that. You weren't able to allow us to celebrate because we beat you with a backup quarterback. Oh, you don't get that same favor because you beat us with a backup quarterback, and it was still a one-score game. At least with us, against your backup, kind of crushed you. And I think if Jalen Hurts, this is no knock to Gardner-Minshew, but I think if Jalen Hurts is in this game, we win. I think we win wholeheartedly. I think those 2 fumbles possibly, maybe those 2 interceptions by Quez, even though that's not Gardner-Minshew's fault whatsoever, I blame that more on Quez. But maybe if Jalen Hurts was able to play this game, and I'm not going to say, oh, Jalen Hurts should have played this. Oh, no, I'm just going basically with the hypotheticals right here. If Jalen Hurts was able to play today, I don't think those 2 interceptions from Quez Watkins happens. Maybe the fumbles don't happen. Defensively, you control what you control there. Still shouldn't be giving up a 3rd and goddamn 30. But still, for it to be a one-score game, I still think that puts a little suspect on Dallas a little bit, on their defense too. But you can't be giving up those big plays. You can't give up that 3rd and 30. You can't be throwing the ball over 4 times. It's bottom line. Miles Sanders, you can't be fumbling at Boston. Scott can't be fumbling on the handover. And Quez Watkins, man, go hit the weight room. Go hit the weight room, dude. How are you allowing yourself to get out-muscled twice? Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. My God. So let's look at some stats throughout this game. Gardner-Minshew, like I said, I thought for what he had to come into, for the role basically, coming in for Jalen Hurts, I thought he did a fine job. I thought he did. 24 out of 40 attempts, 355 yards, 2 touchdowns, the 2 interceptions. Like I said, I feel like they're more on the fault of Quez Watkins getting completely outmanned and outmuscled. Miles Sanders, 21 carries, 65 yards. It's back-to-back weeks now with a fumble by Miles Sanders. Starting to do that. Even though he cleaned that up in the first so many weeks, now it's starting to become a problem again. Not fumbling for the first so many weeks of the season, now it's a problem again. That's an issue. Devontae Smith, back-to-back weeks with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, both having over 100 receiving yards. Devontae Smith, 8 receptions, 113 yards. He made some fantastic catches in this game. A.J. Brown, same thing, 6 receptions for 103 yards. Dallas Goedert, I wish he was targeted more, especially on some 3rd down plays. 3 receptions for 67 yards. I thought Dallas in his return, even though it's probably because it was his first game back, maybe they didn't want to target him as much. So basically just getting back into the flow of everything. But I thought he was fantastic. Kenneth Gainwell got some touches. Quez Watkins, man, getting completely out-muscled, dude. It just, bottom line. And especially on that 3rd down, like the previous play, there was a chance because Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat, they forced Dak to fumble the ball. And I have no idea how the Eagles don't get on top of it. And especially, I believe it was on the Miles Sanders fumbles as well. I think it was Driscoll that had all the chances to get on top of it in the world, and it just completely bounced away from him when he got on top of it. So, had chances to recover those 2, and he didn't. And it kind of looked like on the Dak fumble, before the 3rd and 30, kind of looked like Joseph landed on the ball for the Eagles. But eventually, he got it ripped out of his hands when he was on the ground, went back to Dallas, and that whole 3rd and 30 situation happened. I really don't feel like repeating it, but I'm going to, because seriously, how do you give that up? I just don't understand that. I don't understand how you give that up at all. My God. Credit them. Dak Prescott had a good game. 27 for 35, 347 yards, especially in that first half. It was just basically go to CeeDee Lamb, and CeeDee Lamb had 10 receptions, 120 yards. He got quieter as the game went along because the Eagles, finally, they were playing more man coverage. They were focusing on CeeDee Lamb more, but still, it's just that for in the first half just can't happen, especially when you go up 10-0. Get the field goal, go 3, then that huge, pick 6 by Josh Sweat, and you were up by 10 late in the game. Just can't happen. Those types of mistakes, they just can't happen. The turnovers can't happen. The 3rd and 30 cannot happen. It's bottom line. It is so bottom line, it's not even funny. My God. I really just don't understand how that is even physically possible for that to happen. Like, that is, seriously, that is the most frustrating part about this game. The 3rd, like, how do you give that up? I'm going to keep saying it. How do you give it up? Because I have no idea. Darius Slay, God, my God. My God. I just don't understand how that's physically possible. It's just really, really confusing. It is. My goodness. I want to see if there's anything here. Okay. Nick Sirianni says they'll learn from their mistakes. honestly, I feel like both of the Eagles' losses this year, it's become, them just biting themselves in the goddamn foot. The Washington game, those, Quez once again, dropping the ball when he probably should have went down. A.J. Brown with, the unlucky interception in that game. And this game was basically the same situation. You're just stabbing yourself in the foot with all these turnovers with that 3rd and 30. My God. But still, it still somehow was a one-score game, and I don't understand that. It was still somehow a one-score game. Somehow it was a one-score game. My goodness. My goodness. Jesus. Unreal. It just is. It just is. Man, I just can't fathom it. I really cannot. I just am completely lost. I'm completely baffled. My goodness, man. My goodness. Yeah, I see Soto in there not going to really talk smack because... Yeah. I don't think Dallas fans deserve to talk trash after this game. Yeah, they're going to make fun of all the interceptions and technically the Eagles choking in that fourth quarter. Yeah, they're definitely going to bring that up. But I don't think they deserve to show off because you beat us with a backup quarterback. We did that to you, and you said, no. You didn't beat us when we had Dak. We'll show you. Oh, you beat us with a backup quarterback. Goes both ways, Dallas fans. Or should I say Dallas fans, Lakers fans, Yankees fans, Duke Blue Devils fans. Goes both ways. It definitely does. Now, let's go to the Anytime Hotline. See what some of you are saying here. We got a call here from Sean Fitzpatrick. And you can leave a voicemail, 215, or a text message, 215-839-9885. Numbers right down there below on the screen. You can leave a text message, leave a voicemail. And if you do plan on doing that, I recommend you leaving your name just so I can save that contact for a future use, for future streams and everything like that. Basically, it's your preference. You can also utilize the YouTube live feed. It's your preference at this point. I'm giving you options. Does not matter to me what you use. So let's go right now to the Anytime Hotline. Let's hear what Sean has to say about tonight's game. So basically, we got to wait and see what happens. I want to see what Sean says, though.
All right. First off, Merry Christmas to everybody. Unfortunately, there's a somber taste in Eagles Nation tonight, but a Merry Christmas to all nonetheless and your families. The MVP for Dallas today has to be Josiah Scott. Wherever Josiah Scott was on the field, that's where the football seemed to go. And to say that he's ass would be an understatement. I mean, it's hard for me because when I'm watching the game, I'm in an Eagles stream with the sound down. So I don't know what happened on the fumble recovery that Hassan Reddick caused. That being said, you cannot ever give up 3rd and 30. That 2-play swing cost the Eagles the game, among other things. I thought that Minshew, we saw some good, we saw some bad, we saw some indifferent, but that's to be expected from a guy that hasn't gotten reps with the first-team offense. But, you still got the task at hand. You got to beat the Saints next week, and it's not going to be easy. We're coming out of this game banged up, and they're fighting for their playoff lives. So it's going to be a battle next week, and it's going to be real interesting to see what happens as far as who plays, i.e. Hurts, and who doesn't go. But congratulations to Dallas today.
Yeah, you hit it right on the nose. I have no idea. Like, seriously, it was Darius Slay and Josiah Scott on that 3rd and 30 getting completely burned. All Josiah Scott had to do was raise his hands up a little bit, try to deflect the ball, not go for the body. That's all he had to do. Darius Slay, I have no idea what he was doing ball watching. He just got completely gassed. I have no idea what the result was. Like I said, Darius Slay, I thought he had a terrible game because he was also the result of a 4th down being converted from a stupid penalty. So that's also a reason right there. Yeah, losing Avonte Maddox definitely hurts you. And maybe if Avonte Maddox is in the game, maybe that 3rd and 30 doesn't happen. But you got to work with what you work with. And that just can't happen. It simply cannot happen. That's going to be, like I said, the most takeaways from this game, the 3rd and 30 and Lane Johnson's injury. Because you're banged up after this game. It looked like it's maybe a toe injury with Avonte Maddox. That's what they were saying on Fox. Where, Jordan Davis, it's most likely a concussion situation. He had the concussion spotter come out to send him back into the locker room. And then Lane Johnson, I'm really concerned on what the cause right now is with Lane Johnson. I want to see if there's anything right here that's basically talking about his injury, just to see what is going on here. So right now, this is from Josh Tolentino. Lane Johnson just walked out of the locker room. He's moving around on his own power. He's wearing a wrap around his waist and groin area. Oh boy. Hopefully he didn't pull anything, if anything, right there. Let's see what else. Yeah, Lane Johnson didn't. It's basically more important at this point. Man, just can't happen. It just cannot happen. Man, that sucks. What else? Devontae Smith, everyone talking about his 1,000-yard season with 2 touchdowns. He doesn't care about it because he wanted to win this game. What else? Lane Johnson, anything here? Avonte Maddox, he has a walking boot on his left leg. That's not good. Anything else here? Gardner-Minshew saying all these guys fought their asses off, basically. Like I said, I thought there was good, there was bad, there was some mediocre from Gardner today. I thought for what he did, for the situation he had to go into, I thought he did a fine job. I don't blame this game whatsoever on him. Because Watkins should not be getting out-muscled on 2 of those interceptions. Both of those interceptions, in my opinion, are his fault. Miles Sanders, Boston Scott shouldn't be fumbling the ball. And your defense should not be giving up a 3rd and 30. And your defense, honestly, should have been better on 3rd down today. First half, the 3rd down was just terrible. It got a little bit better in the second half, but then eventually when you got towards the end of the game, it's like 3rd and 30, man. 3rd and 30. 3rd and 30. My God. Man, just sucks. It does. But now, got to move on, get past the holiday. Got next week on New Year's Day, I believe, against the Saints. Not sure. I doubt Jalen Hurts is going to play. The injuries are definitely going to be a major concern. Yes, the Saints are definitely fighting for a playoff spot in that terrible NFC South division. Garbage division. It's a joke that all those teams are involved in a playoff spot being below 500. It's a joke. It is. I know the NFC East has been that for so many years, but seriously. I think the Eagles are going to have some, I think the Eagles are eventually going to get the job done. I think they're going to find a way. Not concerned whatsoever. Not concerned at all. They're going to win the division. They're going to get the first seed in the NFC. They're going to get the bye week. Not concerned whatsoever. Just got to move on. It's frustrating from this game because of all the mistakes, because this game was very winnable. This game was insanely winnable. You just stabbed yourself in the foot too many times. 4 turnovers, which allowed 20 points. And a 3rd and 30. Honestly, which sealed the game. You lost the game on the 3rd and 30. You honestly could have won this game on those 4 turnovers. You still could have won the game. Giving up that 3rd and 30 basically killed it. It did. Just annoying. It's very annoying. It's very frustrating. But at the end of the day, not worried. I'm more worried about Lane Johnson's injury, Avonte Maddox's injury especially too. Well, Lane Johnson especially. But got to move on. Win next week, get the bye week, and rest a lot of your starters. Because the injuries, they're starting to creep up a little bit now with a lot of these guys. So, even though we just got Dallas back, Jalen Hurts is injured. Lane Johnson's now hurt. Avonte Maddox is hurt again. A.J. Brown had some injury scares in this game as well. Looked like he tweaked his ankle a little bit, and then also looked like there was a knee, maybe hit a knee. He stayed in the game, though. He battled, so looked fine. So we got to figure that out, but got to move on to next week. That's all you can do at this point. Move on to next week. So the rest of the schedule, like I said, 2 more games left. Saints next week on New Year's Day, and you got the New York Giants on the 8th. Get the job done next week. That's all you got to do. Get the job done next week. Clinch the NFC East. Clinch the NFC. And then you get the bye week. You get the rest of your players. That's all you can do at this point. That's all you can do. It sucks that you lost to Dallas today. But what are you going to do? It is what it is. Move on. Focus on next week. And I'm sure that's what these guys are doing. I'm sure they're frustrated because they knew that was a winnable game. It definitely was winnable. They could have won this game easily without stabbing themselves in the foot. Like I said, I think the Eagles lost this game more than Dallas won. But it is what it is at the end of the day. They bounced back from a performance like that against Washington. Now they got to do it next week against Saints. I'm not sure what's going to be happening with Jalen Hurts. We'll probably figure that out as the week goes along, if he's going to be playing next week or not. We'll find more about Lane Johnson and all that. Just got to wait and see. Just got to wait and see. So, thank you everyone for joining tonight's stream. Do not forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. I like to see those as always. Do not forget to drop a like on the video. Do not forget to check out everything in the description down below. Painted Lines and BrodesMedia. I recommend all that. Also, hit the subscribe button. I greatly appreciate that. Join the TTP Sports family and also use the code TTP Sports, $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Great deal. Do not pass that up. I wish everyone here a Merry Christmas. Enjoy the rest of your evening, Christmas Eve, and then going into Christmas tomorrow. Hope you have a wonderful time with your family or whatever you do tomorrow. Enjoy it and have a good day. Have a great holiday. And I will see you next time.